Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Happy Monday to you all. We're getting closer and closer to Christmas. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for joining me today. As I said, I can't really give you guys a time as to when I can be here, but I am showing up. So please subscribe to the channel because you would always get a notification as to when I'm here. So thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I hope all is well and that these messages are resonating with you. And I'm also hoping that those who are watching, my listeners, that what is being said here on these videos is helping you within your own situations, because that's important as well. So thank you for continuing to show up. Thank you, my subscribers, all my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. So let's get into this topic of discussion today, and it's prayer and healing. I like to use examples of what I've gone through so that you guys can see that if I can do it and I don't have a, how do you call it, support system in the natural, I have God, prayer, and I persevere through challenges and things that go on. But in the natural, I don't have that support system like some people might. And that makes me even persevere more because I have to put in the work, a lot of work. No matter what, guys, that you're going through, putting in the work will help you to get from A to B to C, on this healing journey, because you will see the results if you don't give up on yourself. So that's important. So the topic of discussion, as I said before, is prayer and healing. What I can say to you guys, as I got on this journey throughout my trials and struggles and pain and crying and etc., I learned to lean on and trust God, because all the people that I was putting my trust in, I realized I was codependent on some of them, and they could care less, what happened to me. And as I went through this grief, period of losing people and all of this, the people who I thought were my support system, it felt like the movie The Titanic. Like I always use these metaphors and examples. Like I was left on it while they got on a safe, what do you call those? A lifeboat, and said goodbye, to me as the ship was drowning and left me behind. And then it feels like, as time went on, they came back to the scene, to see the aftermath, But by that time, I had learned to put my trust and faith in God and know that, and to, put my trust in myself to heal myself and to heal everything that was causing me this pain. After repeating so many lessons, I can't even tell you guys how many lessons I repeated because I wasn't learning them. One thing I can tell you, that if you don't learn these lessons quickly, they will show up, different people, different circumstances, different situations. And once the wheels spin and it comes around again, it's going to be worse than the first time. And then the second and third is just, it's going to be too much. So I try to learn these lessons sooner than later so that I can get off this wheel that's spinning to nowhere. After repeating so many lessons, I finally learned to just let go of the things that were bringing toxicity and pain to my life, because I was holding on to people too long and for the wrong reasons. These people were not in my life to help me, but to teach me lessons. Remember, guys, I always talk about lessons. People, circumstances, and situations come into our life for a reason, a season, a lifetime, or a lesson. And if the lessons are not learned, then we repeat them. And when the lessons are learned, then the circumstances or the people or situations leave our life. Because, guys, think about it. They were only there to teach us this lesson. They were not meant to stay. And as I look at things from a different perspective, as I continue to heal and stay in prayer and meditation and work on myself, I see that now, whereas I couldn't see before, you know. But once the lessons are learned, then these people can leave your life and you don't have to repeat these lessons anymore. Then you can go on to something new. I also learned through prayer and meditation to look at things from a different perspective. And that's one way that I looked at things from a different perspective when it came to these lessons. As I healed, I changed my mindset. Instead of putting this energy and time and effort and generosity and et cetera and so forth into these people who where I didn't mean anything to them, I turned the tables and flipped the script and started to heal and put the effort and time into myself and into God, because I matter just like everybody else, just like every one of you matter. So I put that time and energy into myself. When I build myself up, I learn. I have some notes here, so I don't forget certain points. I learned to, when I build myself up, all the things and people that were holding me back, I learned to let it go. Because as I learned the lesson, those people and situations disappeared from my life because I learned it. Once you learn it, you don't have to repeat it. Once I did all of this, those ton of bricks that I use as a metaphor, they were gone. They were no longer on my back because I just let it go, let all of it go. And once I start to continue to do the work, which is hard, it gets easier as you go along because you find ways to take care of yourself, and you start to enjoy it. I learned my self-worth and started taking care of myself. In other words, people, I took back my power that I was given and handed over to other people. So I took back my power. I snatched back my power and started taking care of me. And a lot of people didn't like this, the people who were there, because they wanted me to chase, run, hop, skip behind them. But as I grew and healed pains and childhood wounds in my life, I learned to put all that energy into myself and into God. Prayer helped me to self-discipline and to trust God. And that was hard, prayer, because when you start praying and asking God for help and he starts coming through, you never know how he's going to help you. And that take faith, and it took a long time for me to get there because in the beginning with all these problems, like it felt like Job and a Bible, I started, having these arguments, prayer arguments with God. Why was I going through it? And as I started going through it and I started to pray more and look deeper into things, just because I wasn't learning lessons. So the lessons have piled up because they were like that wheel that's spinning and spinning and going nowhere. This is what these lessons, because they were not being learned. But when I started to disconnect from the toxicity and just give it all to God, it changed my mindset on how I was doing things and how I was going through life. And things changed for the better because of it. When you learn to heal inner childhood wounds and pain, you get to move forward. One of the places I started was from therapy. And like I always talk about, that was the starting point, the turning point in my life, because I didn't know what to expect. But I started to do the work that the therapist gave me. And then I started to do things creatively within my own life to help myself as well. I started to hear my mother's voice as if she was still here, because there were certain things she said to me that I wasn't doing, that I should have been doing, but I wasn't paying attention because I wasn't there yet to hear what she was telling me. But as I apply those things that she told me about, I see things getting better, but I had to heal first before I could do anything else. One of the things that really was a challenge for me is a family member. And I'm not going to get into details of which and who, because I don't do that here on the channel, but I just use this as an example because somebody else may be currently going through this or may have gone through this. Where as I was healing, I have a particular family member that wanted something from me on a financial level, and I wasn't doing it, because if I had did what they wanted me to do, I would have put myself in a financial setback. And I know I wasn't going to do that. So, what I did is said I had to say, no, I can help you do this, but I can't do that. And that created a real friction and a big argument. And, you know, it just, that was really painful for me, but I wasn't letting up, because I'm not going to put myself in a financial setback where to help this particular person. And they would have said, oh, well, sorry. And I said, I can help you in a different way. And they didn't want that help. And so what happened, resentment built up because they felt entitled. And nobody's entitled to anything. It's by the grace of God that any of us exist. So I kept going after and saying, look, let us resolve it this way, trying and, praying. And I realized for 2 years, I'm running behind this family member. What's wrong with me? I don't care what they are to me. I'm not going to get into those details, but what's wrong with me? Why am I, until an argument took place and some really nasty, mean, hateful things were said. And then that was my cue to disconnect. I don't care who you are at this point. What you said on a highly disrespectful manner, all right, we have to disconnect. And when, you know, that particular family member said, don't contact me anymore, I'm going to block you, blah, blah, this and that, over, something it shouldn't have went that far. And I had the strength as I, went through therapy to talk about it, go into prayer with God. And I just said, you know what? Okay. You're on your own. And okay, I'm gonna grant you that. But know this, when I do this, I'm giving it to God and I'm leaving it alone. That was one of the hardest things I had to do on this journey, guys. Because sometimes you have to disconnect from what no longer serves you. And what I had to learn is that if somebody want to go from your life, I don't care who it is. And if you try to come to a negotiation and try to work things out, it doesn't matter who they are. And if they want to leave, it reminds me of that Sting song, Free, Free, Let Them, how did it go? Set Them Free. It goes free, free, set them free. And that's if you love someone, and it doesn't have to be on a romantic, it could be family, it could be whatever, best friend, whatever. If they want to leave your life, in the name of Jesus, let them go. That's how I feel at this point of my life, because I'm not going to chase, run, skip behind somebody, because like I said, sometimes people are not meant to stay in your life. They are a lesson. And once that lesson is learned, then they're no longer on the scene. And that's how I look at that. It's painful, it's hurtful, but I have to let go. And once I start to heal these pains and look in the mirror and see, why am I chasing and running? Because anything that God meant for me it's going to come to me. I don't have to chase and run and skip behind it. And if I am, then it's not supposed to be there. Things are supposed to come together naturally. Yeah, there's problems, situations, but not where I have to run and skip behind it. And once I learned that lesson, I learned to let it go, folks. And that's why today I'm at an inner peace, because I'm unbothered as I continue to heal on this journey about what somebody said about me. That's not the truth. In the beginning, I used to get hurt and upset because the things are not true. But what I tell people is that when people lie on you and say things because they don't like the new version of who you are, as you start to heal, because as you start to heal, you're going to change for the better and look at things from a different mindset and different perspective. And people may like the old version of who you used to be. But as you heal and grow and evolve, you change for the better, and you see things differently. And sometimes people don't like that. They can't handle that. So they'll say whatever. And in the way I look at lies and viciousness and malicious lies today, is that think about what people are saying to you. You know, I first of all can't understand why people don't research, and find out what the truth is instead of getting on the um, train of gossip and drama and negativity. Because when a person is lying and telling lies on you and saying you did things you never did, they're telling you their own narrative. These are the things that they're doing, but they're pushing that on you because they want to create a distraction. So maybe perhaps you can get off this journey to heal and you can go back to the old version of yourself. And once you heal these things, you never go back to being the old version of yourself, you know? So I'm unbothered by it because I'm still moving forward. I'm still staying focused on what I need to do. I'm still staying focused on prayer and doing what I need to do and leaving the rest in God's hands. And then I transmute that energy when I go into prayer and meditation with God. These are burdens I can't carry if I need to stay on this path. Because I made certain vows to God. And when somebody want to mess with somebody who made vows to God just because they don't like who you are, they need to know that divine intervention will take place. Because if God, you made vows and you're trying to fulfill those vows, as you grow and heal, then God will come on the scene through divine intervention. People don't believe it, but I've seen it time and time again. But anyway, moving forward, for example, when someone wants to walk away from you due to no fault of your own or due to whatever, let them leave, let them go, because chasing and running and skipping behind somebody who don't want you in their life, it's painful. It hurt, it's painful as hell sometimes. But you have to let that person go. That's how I see it at this point in my life. I'm not chasing behind anybody or any of that. The old version of myself used to chase these folks left and right. And, why didn't you call me? Why you didn't do that codependent thing? And I don't do that anymore because my time is valuable. And as I grow and heal, I put that energy someplace else, prayer, meditation into me, spending time building myself up, helping others to build up, because we're coming into a time that is, how do you say, uncertainty, that's coming up. And we need to be gathering together, unifying together, instead of this division and of things that are so insignificant that don't matter, because we're coming into a time of uncertainties and we need to, band together, you know, and help one another and build each other up instead of tearing one another down. The healed version of myself have let things go that is no longer for my highest good. I've let all these things go because anything that's not for my highest good can no longer stay in my life. It has to go. It doesn't matter. And then I look at certain things, from the past that I did have into my life were people who were leeches. These people just want to suck off your energy and whatever I build up or whatever I'm doing, they want to take credit for it even though they have nothing to do with it. They don't know nothing about it. They just want in. People like that don't want to work and don't want to put in the effort. They just want it quick like a microwave, without doing the work. They want you to do all the work and they claim the abundance. And when God is in the middle of something, he's not going to allow that to happen. Especially, I put God into everything that I do, prayer and meditation. I'm not religious or anything like that. I'm not sitting in a church, but I do have a deep relationship with God. And I know that God works because there's certain things that happens that is nobody but him, as I stay on this path. And sometimes people try to distract you with gossip and a lot of BS that they on. And I'm unbothered by it because I've healed those things. If I haven't healed those things, yeah, I would be bothered by it tremendously. But I just keep moving forward and give those burdens to God because they're not my burdens to carry. It's not my cross to bear. It belongs to them. And so I just keep it moving. And when people, want to keep overstepping in your life, especially when you've talked to them and said, I need to take care of my physical and mental health. So I'm doing A, B, C, and D, and they keep trying to, jump over this and disrespect it. Set boundaries. That's where I started first, setting boundaries. And when people started disrespecting the boundaries I set, I start to reiterate to them, I've set these boundaries for a specific reason because I need to do A, B, C, D, and E. And they continue, girl, sit down, shut up kind of attitude, and continue to disrespect those boundaries. Then at that point, I cut off, block, and delete. I don't play with these folks, and once I cut off, block, and delete, there's no reversing that, because at that point, I've done everything to show them, hey, and I'm not allowing people to disrespect me. So it's important to set boundaries and keep it moving while you heal, because some people don't want to see you heal. They don't want to see you grow. They don't want to see you evolve. They want you as the old version of yourself, because maybe they could use that old version of yourself. Step over it. Be a doormat to that old version of yourself, or treat you like an ATM machine. None of that is going on anymore, because I have healed those things, and I will speak those things out. God, I need to stay on this path, and this and that with these interruptions. Here, God, take this, and once I transfer that to Him, God takes those burdens and give it right back to them, because it belongs to them. And then I can stay on this path, help myself, help other people, and keep it moving. I don't have time to engage in gossip, negativity, all that other stuff, because I healed those things. And remember, people, as you continue to move forward on a path, you start to see things from a different perspective. You will see that certain things are only in your life for a lesson. They're not meant to stay. And you would know the difference, because anything that's meant to stay in your life for your highest good, it's not going to be all these toxic things going on and negative. It's not going to be a struggle. It will happen naturally, and it will, it's not going to be all these problems and things attached to it. When we don't learn lessons, that's what happened. When we learn these lessons, then we can let these folks go, and then we can redirect the focus on ourselves, our healing, our mental and physical, because without that, we can't take care of ourselves or anything else around us. So that has to always be a priority, and always make time for yourself on a daily, no matter how busy your schedule is. Take time out. I took time out, go to the gym, have some music going on, and when I'm in my car driving, talking to God, and just, keeping it moving. I don't care who doesn't like what, where, whatever. The thing I do care about, if I'm being disrespectful or anything, or hurting people's feelings or whatever, then, that's different. But I try to treat people in a way that I want to be treated, and I keep, try to stay on that path. And any disrespect or whatever, set boundaries. That's the starting point. And please think about therapy, because that's where I started. And then, when my therapist had me to make a pro and con list, that was the beginning of changes for the better in my life, because I started to value myself as I saw that the cons outweighed the pros. And why am I dealing with this? Why do I still have these folks in my life? And I start to look at other things. I'm not a doormat. And when I saw what the disrespect was, set boundaries. And then when those boundaries were disrespected, then it was time to close the door forever. So I'm saying these things because whoever's listening might need to hear this today. So every day is going to be a different message, but it's all tying in to healing and growth and love and light. So that's the message today, guys. I have to get going, but I wanted to show up, encourage you guys, and we really need to just continue to build one another up. Like I said, we are entering some uncertain times. Prayer, um, helping each other to keep each other in an upright. So that's the message today. It's one last thing I want to say, because it's important that we gather together, and prayer together, and help each other, because it's important to stay, at peace instead of broken down into pieces. That's the message again. Everyone, this is Lisa, always shedding love and light and uplifting you all. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Bye for now.